Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. And today we celebrate because thank fucking God that's over. Euphoria season 2. It's come to a close. And today I'm joined by Aurora Carter and Tavarus Pennginton. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Great to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to have you both. As always, we're here to do our usual gossip about the kids at Euphoria High. It was a good finale. You know, it was an entertaining season. You know, I said thank God it's over, but it's mostly just because of the social media presence surrounding the show.
Yeah.
It's been a nightmarish hellscape.
Damn, that's some strong words, huh? You haven't been happy getting on Twitter on Sunday nights, huh?
No, yeah, like it's not just Sunday nights either. It's just like every day of the week they're tweeting about Euphoria, and sometimes I felt like I wasn't watching the same show as some people.
Well, and you know, it's only typical it would happen here, but like it only took a couple weeks for someone to be like, "Hey guys, here's a bright idea. Let's just throw a whole party and theme it after Euphoria." And I'm like, we're gonna be the Euphoria party people. We're gonna
isn't that what they don't want you to do?
Yeah, like I feel like that makes me worse about being like, yeah, I'm gonna get drunk at the Euphoria party. Like
no,
the Euphoria party. Like no, these kids are avoiding serious underlying issues.
No, yeah, they all got some shit going on. That's for sure.
Seriously.
That's something that I think is redeemable about this season, though, is that it was more upfront about trying to not glorify, but instead bring those underlying issues that drive the abusive behaviors to light more.
Oh, everyone was hitting a new low every week. Like there was nothing glorifying shit this season. You know? It was all painful. You know. And since we last talked, you know, we talked after episode 4. Now 4 weeks later, we've gotten the latter half of the season, and you know, I wouldn't say it went out with a bang, but I think it elevated as the season went on a little bit, especially from the last couple weeks of like 3 or 4. It got better, you know, and I hate to be right. You know, I hate to be right. When we spoke at the halftime heat check, I said perhaps that if they wanted to kill somebody who would hurt like hell and wouldn't cost a lot of story, it would be our man's Ashtray. Did not know it would happen in such a tragic manner, though. Wow, that fucking hurt.
Yeah. I had as soon as I realized what this was going to end up being, I was like, damn it, he called it.
I was FaceTiming my friends because they had a Euphoria season finale watch party. And everyone was like, it seems like Aurora is in the room with us. Because I was screaming at Ashtray so badly. Like, I was like, God. No, what the fuck? What are you doing, white kid? Stop. Like, I was screaming at him because I was like, why are you doing this to Fez? Like, my heart was just going up, and I was praying. When that red dot was going to his forehead. They were just like, all right, let's just arrest the shit out this little kid. But then, like, I kind of felt like Ashtray, they was going to be like, no,
They couldn't do that to the police at this day and time. Like, you know, like, with the way that the brotherhood of police are being criticized right now, like, you know, if one of their own gets killed,
it's
a
wrap.
clapback.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
I liked that earlier in the episode too when Lexi asked Fez like, then what are the police good for? And he was like, shit, fuck if I know.
But I was so happy Faye, even though shit wound up.
She held it down.
Yeah, but she was just like, oh no, like I said, girl, you use those big ass lips for a reason. Well, thank you.
So, and I mean, that's ultimately what I'm thinking, because Fez is obviously very centrally implicated in this whole plot. Like, this is, his grandmother's apartment. But they may have written it just so he gets an easier break come next season. Which is terrible that I'm already thinking about that, but that's how they did it last season. That's how they've done it this season. They hang Fez out there, and they're like, come back and see what happens.
Come back, yeah.
But he does not say anything on the recording because of shoot, what's her name? I'm forgetting it already. Faye. And then Ashtray is now dead, which means Ashtray can
take the fall.
And I mean, not to be, I don't know, like I don't consider Ashtray as a completely credible actor. He's forced into a lot of these situations due to his own history and upbringing, but he was the one who did cause most of these problems to arise.
Like I remember what motivated me to say he would be the one who got killed is that he was quick to act.
Yeah.
He's very what's that word?
Impulsive.
Yes. He acts like this without thinking. That's why when he stabbed I was getting some Michael Myers type shit. I was like, why did you just do that? Like, and I thought the way they carried Ashtray at the beginning of season 1, it seems like he was really smart. Like it came off like he's not stupid, but it's like
they did kind of pivot with his character. I didn't really think about that, because if I remember him at first, when we first introduced Ashtray, he's kind of talkative, isn't he?
Yeah, he was very talkative. He became more mute and just angry. Like
he didn't say a word in the finale.
Not a word.
Really?
Not a word.
Not a word. That credit to Javon Walton's performance, the actor.
That's awesome.
Of Ashtray. Didn't say a fucking word. He didn't say a word.
He just looked. It was just on site with him. Like, oh no.
Yeah, he did fantastic in that finale, and it's hard to say what motivated him in that moment. I saw like a tweet earlier that I don't think that like I fully subscribe to, but they did make a point to show us that Ashtray was always around, always listening, always kind of hanging around the corner, and perhaps he heard Fez talking to Lexi on the phone earlier and everything he wanted, and hoped and wanted a family and wanted to move out to a farm and stuff, and was like, well, if you take this fall, that ain't gonna happen.
It was...
now that doesn't answer why he had to die, but
but like
perhaps why he was more willing to take the fall.
I have never seen Fez. Well, I forgot the actor's name, but
Angus Cloud.
Angus, that's right. And like his acting, like he was acting like he was actually being loud. Like it was like he was really being like
expressive.
Stop. Like it was so sad, and he's just a cat. And it's like, did Fez turn Ashtray not from his little brother still, but more like like that was his like was Fez like his guardian at that point?
Yeah,
it seemed like he was acting not as like an older brother, but as like more like a parent. That's what I got.
He's just a kid. That shit sucked. That was painful.
That was so painful.
Yeah, that was rough. Angus Cloud did fantastic in the finale as well. Was it Ashtray who clipped Fez?
Yes.
Yeah, it was, right?
Yes. The bullet, Ashtray bullet went into Fez. Yeah.
That's a rough one.
And it was I kind of saw this like metaphor. It's like maybe Fez is going to hold resentment towards Ashtray. Like,
nah.
Like, I'm not like resentment, like he's going to be like, I fucking hate this little kid. Oh, but it's kind of like if this is your loved one and they left you, like, because it's kind of like he's alone. Cause I feel like they're going to do, like, his grandmother is going to not be here anymore. I feel like that's what they're doing. Like that
I
house.
don't understand how the grandmother is still alive.
That's
She
what
seems
I'm
dead
saying.
as a
That's
rock every
a
time
whole
we see her.
conversation.
I'm like,
Well,
how
she's a vegetable at this
does she
point, bro.
eat, drink, take a shit? Well, like what?
What's going on
I
here,
don't
bro?
know.
I love
Yeah,
that while
no,
we're
but
talking about Euphoria, my phone sent me an email about opioid addiction. But okay.
oh no,
Yeah.
they're always listening. Nah, yeah, but so we leave this finale, you know, in the latter half of the season. What's going on with Rue and the human trafficking lady who she owes $10,000? Why have they not cleared that up still?
I felt like they was trying. I felt like with Faye kind of putting the blame on Mouse killing to Lori. I think that's the lady's name, Lori.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be a way of, you know, like next season to be like, okay, let's get this shit out the way. Like that,
Gotcha.
we're not
Gotcha.
worrying about that no more. Because I felt like wherever the phone, they probably can pick the phone out of that sold or whatever. And I don't know if it was a recording or actually, I think the phone was active. I don't think it was a recording. I think someone was listening to that. So that was probably a way of them being like, all right, let's go find whoever the fuck Faye was talking about.
Gotcha. Yeah, you know, that's something I'll say for this season is there was a lot of stuff where it solely existed to build tension, and to flare up the dramatic, even if it didn't result in anything. There were multiple moments like that. Like I remember whenever the chick Maddie babysits for, she like catches her trying on her shit and like puts a camera in her closet and like keeps an eye, and that was all just so she could give her address.
Yeah.
Like, but they played that music like this was going to be a fucking problem for Maddie. Like, ooh.
I think the reason why, like, I kind of like the reason for the lady giving her the dress, because I felt like even that pool scene, you kind of realize that lady is like, oh, Maddie is me. Like, at that age, like, she is me. And I can understand why she's doing this. Because I kind of felt like whatever happened to Maddie's, like, parents? Like, are they just not in the show no more? Because they didn't show them at
Were they ever in the show?
Well, I remember, like, you know, when, I think the only scene we got this season in Maddie's house is when Nate came with the gun.
I think that's right.
It.
Oh yeah, I don't think that happened by episode 4. There's been some other shit that's happened since we last talked. That was pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so are we all on the same page? So like Jules and Rue are no longer a love story based on what Rue said at the end.
Yeah.
It's just like that first heartbreak kind of story.
Yeah, because I feel like Nate and Jules are going to be a thing. I don't know why. Don't gang up on me, but I feel like they are going to do that next season. I feel that. It's either going to be Dominic or Nate.
She can't because she's with, you said Nate and
Jules, but I feel like it's either going to go to Dominic or, Elliot or Nate. It's going to go this way.
I think Dominic Fike would have something to say about that.
Oh, aren't they dating? They're dating.
They are in real life.
That's right.
Apparently. But
yeah.
I think so too after that last, because that last interaction that Nate and Jules have was just
every word I said.
Way too, there was too much mutual understanding there. Like, even though it was a overt tone of opposition between the two, there was this underlying connection that was being proposed in the way that they just both understood why they were engaging in the way that they were.
Yeah. That's why I said what I said.
I got another question too about this finale. So what's Cal technically getting arrested for?
Child pornography, I believe so.
That's what I would think.
Or
it could have been unconsensual.
Yeah, perhaps. I was just curious. Like, oh yeah, the unconsensual filming of these activities.
I believe it's those
could be a big one too.
Yeah, I believe it's those two because I don't think Jules was the only underage person Cal was with.
That would make sense. You know, I think. I also think it's they were making the point to try to portray to us that Nate left Jules out of that by giving her her tape. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and take all the rest of this to the police, but
If he
you
did
can
that,
decide what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like throwing her under the bus with like forcing her into litigation around that sort of thing. Like, he's like, you have the opportunity to do it on your own. And she chose to smash that shit up, and ultimately it's going to pay off anyway. It looks like.
Can we talk about how they just threw in Cal, like Benny over Nate in the play, and the thoughts that went through my head? Because I was like, was Cal fucking, like, we didn't know this? Like, was this a thing? Because
I never.
I wasn't the only person that thought that. Because I was.
No, you were not. You were not.
Yeah.
I saw plenty of that online.
Because I was like,
I never got that impression though.
Because I was like, see, part of me felt like, no, this is just Nate thinking like this is like part of his.
It's a psychosexual.
Yeah. And when he had said what he said in the warehouse or something, I was like, oh, like, just imagine how that felt for Cal to be like, oh, my son had dreams about me fucking him. Like, like I really fucked my kids. Like, you know, like them over.
Literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, there's so many interesting layers to that.
No, yeah, I always thought it was just and he comes out and says it was a recurring nightmare he had over the course of his entire life. It sounds like, as we see it happened like last week, I think, or like the second to last episode. I think we see one of those dreams.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel,
he's
yeah.
What was that? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I kind of feel like where we're going with these characters so far, I feel like we're going to get like Lexi and Rue. That's going to be a thing coming up with Fez, and I really feel like that we might get a Nate redemption storyline. That's just what I feel coming up.
I think it's really cool that they reframed these last couple episodes with Lexi's play. As I was really worried about like how it would go, and at first I was kind of like, this is kind of unfair of Lexi to kind of air out all of this shit on all
airing
the other people,
out everything.
Yeah, but you know, it was perhaps necessary for them to see what it looks like to an outside eye. You know, as Fez said, sometimes people need to get their feelings hurt. But I like the way they reframed it as like Rue and Lexi finding their way back together as best friends there by the end. Like, I thought that was really cool.
That's why I said, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I loved that.
But for Cassie going on the stage and having Maddie be like, oh, bitch, hold up. You're not better do what you better do because you're not going to do it.
This bitch needs to be put down.
Yeah. Like when she just slapped her, and Zendaya's reaction throughout the whole play is so homegirl. It's so like, she was like, dying, like, oh shit.
She was that was a crazy, like, there weren't even that many like physical interaction moments in that fight, but every time, like, you know, I'm like, oh shit, like, especially when they're chasing each other, she throws I was
into
like,
the wall.
That's everything.
My absolute favorite part is when they are in the bathroom afterwards and Cassie is in disarray. Her hair is fucked up. She got broken nails. She's crying and shit. And then it goes to Maddie, and that shit didn't do nothing to her. Ain't a hair out of place. She's perfectly fine. Ain't no nails broken or nothing. She just knows at some point, you know what's punishment enough? You dating Nate.
Like, it was like, do you think that she's going to still trying to get back at Cassie when she said this is only the beginning? Or it's like, this is only the beginning for her liking Nate?
Well, with her going, well, he broke up with me right before the play. She went like, nah, this is only the beginning of that. Like, we broke up before. You know, like we broke up a first time as well, and every way he hurt me came after that as well. You know, like I think it's just like sense. It's only the beginning of your relationship with Nate here.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, there is also the option where like Nate's dad's out of the picture, and I know he's probably permanently fucked up, obviously. But unless he gets into some therapy. I don't necessarily see the redemption arc for him quite yet. I could see him wanting to be better, but being completely unable to execute.
Oh yeah, I feel like if they was going to do a redemption arc, Renee, like what I meant by that, like they might start setting like stones for him because he just automatically become like a sweetheart. Like I'm like, okay, this is fuck no. Like this man,
he's got some weird motivations. Then
he is literally the most scariest white boy I have seen on TV so far.
Yo, when he was sitting down with the gun at Maddie's house when she walked home, fuck no, bro. That was some shit straight out of a horror movie.
Right?
He looked fucking scary.
That really just upped it too for no reason at all. Like the stakes, like
I kind of felt like Sam, the writer, really was just dramatic as fuck. Like unnecessary dramatic in certain times. Like
oh yeah.
Well,
it's a melodrama first and foremost.
Yeah,
I feel like is kind of what Euphoria just is. So it's trying to like play on these scenarios and
man, but like I'll tell you though, season 1 the melodrama was high, right? But it all felt meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like that's where it kind of lost steam in this season, is that there felt like a lot of moments that it was melodrama for the sake of melodrama and not melodrama that was serving the story with a better purpose.
I completely agree. It was like every dramatic action led to something, and this was just there just for like viewer effect. Like it was just like, oh, let's get the the verse. Like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Nothing.
Like it seems like they were going for something a little different with season 2 than they were with season 1. Because I will say I was massively entertained. I don't think it was as good as season 1, but I had more fun watching it. Like season 1 was a chore to get through because the pain I felt was relating to the story and everything kept getting worse and worse. This time around, it was like, oh shit, they went and did that, and then there was no consequences for it later on, and it was just kind of like, okay,
it was like, but I was going to say like I think like my favorite scenes so far in season 2 would be. One of my favorite scenes that I like the way it was shot was Nate and Cassie in the car driving. Like when she was when you first got him, it's like, oh, he's attracted to Cassie. I loved the way that was shot. It was actually really good. I watched that so many times for therapy reasons.
I think my favorite scene in season 2 was when they gave Dominic Fike 5.5 minutes of screen time for singing the song.
Yeah, I was just reading an article about how like he was getting roasted alive.
No, here's the thing: is that I was like, oh, this is cute.
I swear,
and the song was it had a cute purpose, and like it was, he's making it up to Rue a little bit, trying his best to be like, I'm trying to. Connect with you here. I'm sorry for everything I did, etc. And then it went on for another 2.5 minutes. And I was like, we're on our third chorus. Can we
maybe not the whole song? Yeah, no, I remember like not even noticing what was going on. Like he started singing and the next thing I knew, I'm looking back up from my phone and I'm like, wait, he's still
singing. He's still singing.
Like I'm like, how long have they just been zoomed in on their faces? Like
I just wish like if they were going to do that, at least show like Dominic and Rue like scenes that maybe we didn't see, or like
or cut it in with different action around
the her just being like, oh shit, I'm going to cardiac arrest. Like maybe
it was just them sitting across from each other, and there was a certain point where Rue was like,
yeah, like if he was given some like vocals, like I would have been like, all right, yeah, let's. But it was just like, oh, okay, a guitar and falsettos.
No, yeah, and like the song was good. It's just like it wasn't the time.
It wasn't the time. The time this wasn't the episode for that. I have too much anxiety throughout this whole episode for that.
Yeah, I don't get why they couldn't just do a montage of some sort. Like they've done that before, like plenty of time. They did that at the very end of last season of season 1. Like they did a whole music video production, damn near.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and ultimately though, it was an entertaining finale, and an entertaining last couple episodes. The framing of Lexi's play as kind of the background and something the season's leading up to. was a lot of fun, you know. And once it started getting going,
Lexi's
I mean,
play
I was like, hey, like I was like, fuck yes, this shit was fun as fuck.
She was in everybody's ass. I wish I was there. Lexi's mom was living.
Oh, she was having the time of her fucking life. How about Ethan? How about the fact that we don't get a single reactionary shot of Kat after calling Ethan boring?
I'm just like, was the show conceding that all of it was just a waste of time, like Kat's whole storyline? Because that's what it feels like. Like,
yeah,
it was like, oh, yeah, Kat just kind of is a shitty person, turns out. Moving on. Like,
she irritates me with that gaslighting shit. I was like, bitch, like how you?
Oh my god! Whenever they were at the diner, and I was like, oh my god, Ethan, if you don't get the fuck up and walk away from this woman right now, she is being terrible to you.
She's being terrible to you.
She's being terrible to, I don't even know. Like, I just don't understand. Like, if you were to compile all of Kat's scenes from this season, what arc would they amount to?
Nothing. And I'm pretty sure I did read something that like something behind the scenes prevented her from like her storyline was headed in a direction she was really not comfortable with. She like
I read the same.
She didn't shoot the scenes. So like her story, I think like it ended when it ended because they were like, well, we have to figure out a way to do something with you this season. And I think it was them ending her relationship with Ethan was just like, that's the arc. She got him at the end of season 1. They're not together by the end of season 2. The end.
Ethan's still cool.
Yeah. What you gonna say?
Oh, he was killing it up on that stage.
Yeah, he was. But Kat is so stupid because I remember my friends was like, girl, you had a man that want to give you cunnilingus and didn't want nothing in return. Are you serious? Like, it was... that was so fucking funny.
She's like, I'm just not into it. But she couldn't just say that. Like, she couldn't just be like, I'm don't, like, I no longer have feelings for you. She had to be like, oh, like, I don't even, that was just such a odd scene at the diner.
Is there something to it maybe that she was like, I don't know if we're giving Kat too much credit with this idea, but that like maybe she's making it easier for him to be like, okay, I'm done?
Maybe, but like, why does she have to do all that shit? Because she just made herself seem awful. Like that she very clearly knew what she needed to do, but instead of doing that, she was going to make it seem like his fault.
Don't get me wrong. It ain't okay.
That bitch was crazy. And then the whole time while she's talking to Maddie, she's on the phone. Like, I mean, like, the whole time while she's talking to Maddie, it's like she's on the phone at their breakup.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like,
that was wild. I was like, as soon as the scene dropped in, I was like, she was on the phone? That's another level of disrespect.
But
like,
he was like, well, you haven't looked at me since you got here.
Can we talk about the season 5? I mean, not season 5, episode 5 of
which one was that?
When Rue had her withdrawal scene when she was kicking doors down and shit.
Oh yeah,
that
was quite the that was an intense way to open up a episode, I will say.
Because they kicked in the Euphoria thing, and I was like, "Fuck, we're like 10 minutes in. That's it."
Yes. Like I was like, hold up. Like it was so crazy. She was like, "Where the fucking suitcase?" And I was like, I said, "Girl, you must have came to Baltimore City for like 5 minutes because you was acting way too good." Because I was like, wow. And her just being like, "Mom, that wasn't my fucking shit, yo. I swear to God."
I swear. It was so real, though.
Yo, and I gotta say, you flushed an entire suitcase of drugs? Never once thinking this might be bad for my pipes.
This might be bad for my pipes.
As
Just
$10,000 worth of drugs, you just flushed all of it down the toilet. That can't be good for your plumbing.
I wished her mother was like, because my mom was even being like, wait a minute, if my daughter, like my mother looked at me and was like, if you came home with a suitcase full of drugs, I'm not flushing that, because evidently, how did you get this? Like, I need to ask questions.
Like you had,
like that.
Yeah, it was just a really bold choice.
That's bold. And then Jules, and I felt like that kind of hit home for me, because I remember one time when I was like zapping out really bad, like, because that seems like very personal to me, and like whole time like both of my cousins was like in the house when I didn't know about, and they heard me zapping out the whole time, and I felt that like they felt like she was mad. She was like, oh shit, they heard all that shit. Yeah. And she was like, you know what, fuck it, they heard it, let me zap out on y'all. Like, y'all can get this work too.
Yeah, whenever it was revealed that Jules was sitting in the other room, I was like, oh, fuck. And she just heard all of that. And then she went in there and was like, you know what? Fuck you too.
Fuck you too. I still don't know how I feel about how they handled it, like going straight to her mom like that. But
I think it was the right move.
It got the shit done that needed to be done, so I guess you can't. But like, yeah, I don't know. That was kind of heavy.
It was mad. It was mad heavy. You know, it's and I think Jules made the right decision. You know, and I think she handled that situation incredibly well. You know, I don't think. It's just every time Jules tells Rue "I love you," there's a part of me that just goes, eek. I'm like, I don't believe you.
I don't.
He said, eek.
I don't at all.
I don't believe you.
Like, it feels so disingenuous. Like this, like it. I don't know. I just don't believe it. Like, I really felt like when Rue said when she was getting ate out was like, oh, I don't feel anything because I'm like high as shit. I feel like that was her also kind of being like that. I don't feel not really full of Jules because I'm high as shit the whole time. And she said that in the finale. Like most of it, I wasn't even here.
Yeah, you know, like she was like, I couldn't even really tell you. I was high. That was a they just I don't really fuck with what they did with Jules in season 2.
They didn't do her much credit at all, and she seemed like one of the main characters of season 1, of course.
Yeah, she still had a bit of prominence early on in season 2. You know, it was just like slowly as the season went on, she was like fizzled more and more out.
Well, that's because I think this show is in like Rue's consciousness in a way.
Oh, and Jules wasn't a part of that
because you remember when it went over Jules in the bed like this soaping, and then Rue was like, you know what, fuck her, I don't want to talk about Jules, and it just.
That's right.
like she's the god of this world. Like it's in her mind.
Yeah. How about the way we end this season? You know, it's kind of a happy note, semi-happy note. As happy as we can be in Euphoria Town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rue stayed clean the rest of the school year.
But how?
What happens when that first day of summer rolls around, bro?
I really felt like Rue is going to I really feel like she is going to go in a not so high route. Like maybe she'll have her moments, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as season 1 and season 2 because I felt like all her access to drugs are now gone in a way. Like, I mean, it's easy. Come on, like we all know it's easy to find drugs, but I really felt like in the show,
That's what's
Fez gone, Fez in jail, stuff like that.
They've over season 2, they turned most of what we thought were supporting characters into straight up like main characters of the show. Like there's arguably 5 or 6 main characters, which makes me feel like they need to like introduce more supporting characters. Like people like Elliot, but I don't know. Elliot was such a I don't know. Elliot Elliot's character didn't go anywhere the entire story. Like,
and people were, and I can't blame people for like speculating about who. There were points in the season, like I saw y'all that I saw not you two specific, not you two, but I saw y'all saying that like Faye and Elliot were like agents of Lori.
shit,
working for Lori. Like what? No, fuck off.
Wow. That's really,
that makes no sense.
Wow. I mean, in the first episode, they smashed Faye's head into the drywall. So that's
right.
That's one hell of a payroll.
It was just some people reaching for some purpose around Elliot, I think, which there didn't end up being any. It was just kind of a guy who was there to stir the fucking pot.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate, though, like, maybe purpose enough was just that for Rue in the finale to stop by and be like, yo, I got a lot of I'm sorry's. I don't got a lot of people that still need to apologize to me. So I forgive you. I appreciated that moment too.
Yeah.
I thought that was strong for Rue to be able to go and be like, I'm really thankful you exist because I suck and you're worse than me.
Yeah. Like, and also in like episode 5, how she was just dodging to police and robbing that house. Like I was like, oh god.
Yo, when she saw the garage open and like looked and then bolted for it, I was like, fucking hey, Rue, you're not about to break into a house.
She needed that money. She was like, I need to pay this bitch.
I mean, that was just such an absurd sequence of events. Like, I mean, that one and Rue's like tirade, but like it did a great job depicting, I think, like these episodes in an accurate light. Like, this is like it was just pretty raw, you know.
Oh yeah, you know, she was struggling with withdrawal in that episode, and she goes on the run in search for not only some money but also something to get in her system. So that
the only thing I couldn't believe was when she snuck out of fucking Lori's house. I was like, that is insane. Like, who is she? Rue or James Bond? Like
Rue is that bitch.
She said, I'll do what I must.
Like, because
I'll jump 20 feet out a window.
I was watching it with my homegirl, and we was on FaceTime. And we was watching it together, and she literally had to like stop the episode with that morphine shit. She was like, she said, my anxiety, she said, Aurora, please do not tell me what's happening on scene, because I don't know what's about to happen, and that's going to bother me.
Yeah.
And I was like, it got to me so bad, I had to fast forward. I was like, I can't do this. That was...
it's a lot of moments like that in Euphoria, you know, and I will say, as much as this finale like did try to build the tension, I felt it the least in this finale comparatively to other weeks. Mostly because there came a point where it was like, oh, so this is definitely what's about to happen.
Yeah.
More so than the other episodes, just because you knew there was a sense of finality to it. With Ashtray's demise and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the fucking memes that came out with episode 5 was hilarious. Oh my god. Like, I had to send that in the group chat when it was just like, when she was like,
how long have you been fucking Nate?
What'd you say?
How long have you been fucking Nate?
My jaw, I was gooped. Me and my homegirl was on FaceTime. Both our faces were...
Cassie came
like
with that perfectly well-meaning, just really not maybe not the person to be saying it to, like, know your audience in this scenario, you know, and you know, you take it one day at a time.
It was like, girl, how long you been fucking
Nate? Oh, Cassie? Yeah. Take it one day at a time. You've been taking it one day at a time, fucking Nate.
Yo, I was like, but then Maddie has such a homegirl moment when she was like, you dumb fucking bitch. I was like, I was in here cheering it. I wish I was in that house. I wish I was there.
Yo, how about Maddie seeing like the ultimate redemption arc over the course of the season?
Yes.
She is she's the second most likable character in this show right now for my money. Like, or not, maybe not, but towards the top of the list, you know, like she's one of the more enjoyable characters from this show. Whereas in season 1, I was like, she is annoying the shit out of me. But she rocked in season 2. She's just a really good friend, and not a lot of the people in this show are just really good friends. They try to be, but they completely and utterly fucking fail.
It's so fucking odd when they'll put them on screen all together, and you're like, wait, I keep forgetting that these separate people's lives are like, they like apparently are friends. Like,
yeah, no, but like I remember when that intervention shit popped up, and I was like, are these the people to have here?
Yeah, right, exactly, like that. Like, you're like,
I was like, Lexi, sure, but Maddie, Cassie, I think Kat was there. Like, I know they were friends for a long time, and that's why they were there, but like they haven't been friends for a while. Even longer so than Lexi and Rue, you know? Like, it seems like they grew apart far before this show even really started, you know?
You know what scene, you know, like what they just let go, and it was such an opportunity to have it. I wish they had Cassie the next episode 6, when she was like, you know, they were like da, 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 and I'm the victim. You know, I wish she had to see her just eating ice cream, and she was watching Friends where Ross was like, we were on a break. I wish that was a fucking thing, because I would have been like, all right,
funny.
like that would have been hilarious.
You know, he's right. They were on a break.
They were on a break.
Yeah.
But
technicals.
Now, yeah, Cassie hit a new low every single episode. It was crazy.
Oh my
it was
God,
just like,
holy shit.
It was just like, holy fucking shit. She is falling into a pit of complete unlikability. And of course, I mean, she's going through it pretty hard right now, mentally, I'd say.
Man.
That's why I loved what Lexi said. Like, you're doing all this over a motherfucker who embarrassed you and made fun of you and bullied you your whole entire life. Like, girl, get a grip. Like, I was like, for real, like, you doing all this for Nate ass? Like, we seen him in underwear, girl. Like, come on. Like,
that was the thing. That was the thing from the get-go this season. In season 1, Cassie was one of the more likable characters from season 1, I'd say. At least, like, the least unassuming, you know? Like, she was just, like, she seemed pretty genuine and just kind of nice and stuff. There weren't a lot of characters in the show that were like that. So, when you bring her and Nate together, I was like, anytime anyone is around Nate and goes, yeah, maybe, I'm like, what the fuck? How was McKay friends with Nate? How are any of these people even still associating with that guy?
For real, he should be exiled.
For the most part, you don't really see them associating with Nate. Like, Nate is, for the most part, a lone wolf. Like, when he does some wild-ass shit, he does it on his own.
It's true. That's true.
And, like, I really hope in season 3, Cal, even though Cal kind of deserves getting locked up, but I hope he runs into Tyler in a way, and Tyler tells him, like, this is what your fucking son did. And he's like, oh, bad, let me call my lawyer. Like, you know, I kind of wish that was a thing. I hope that's a thing.
I'm interested to see what they'll do with Cal going forward. I think it'd be interesting if Fezco is going to jail for any reason here. If him and Cal meet on the inside. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because I don't think they're going to get rid of Cal. I feel like they're not going to get rid of McDreamy. Like, they're not going to do that.
I don't think so either. And maybe they do for like most of his story. Like, I can't have much purpose being that far away from everybody in jail and everything. Like, it would only be some contemplative retro, like maybe even trying to better his character in prison or whatever. But yeah, I really don't know what to expect with Nate or him going forward. You know, like, where after getting his dad locked up. What's that do to Nate? What's he going to be like going forward? Where's his mentality at?
I remember right after the season had ended when Rue just walking away, I had went to my bathroom and I just heard someone singing it, and I'm just like, I know that's not Zendaya. Like, because I was like, ooh, okay, so I hope this show doesn't do a thing where every actor that can sing winds up singing. Like, I'm not here for that. That gets my nerves.
Nah, yeah, I was like, as soon as Dominic Fike started singing, I was like, okay, yeah.
Please don't do this, like Zendaya girl.
I knew they were gonna do that, and then it got to like 3.5 minutes of it, and I was like, man, they're really doing it, huh?
I just wish it was like a little, like, not like such a sad song. Like, why do they give them the placement there? Like, make some good, pretty upbeat music.
Yeah, right. Like, it had a good message, but fuck.
Yeah, because I was hoping they would have did that song when he was like singing with his suit on that Late Show. Like, I wish it was something like that. Like, give him a rock song because he can do it. Like, I was so irritated. Right. I really feel like Euphoria needs like a Colton character though. Just to kind of be like, what is y'all doing? Because
what the fuck going on here?
Yeah.
But for real, they really do need someone more realistic.
They do
to just be around.
There's so many choices they can make to like put other characters in, introduce new characters that are like more able to connect with the audience, because like that's what they risk, I think, in their excessive melodrama, is just like detaching completely from the emotional reality of the audience.
Exactly. I think like the closest thing we've gotten to like a normal bystander of everything is Lexi, and they elevated her to basically a main character this season. So it was like now the melodrama surrounds her because she fell in love with Fez, and Fez is little dude just got shot, and he got shot, and he's going to jail, and it's like, oh God, now Lexi's life is going to shit, and it's like,
yeah, and it's like,
when will it get better?
They do need like realistic characters, because I would love if someone just pulled up to the school like us on the first date just being like, so what I miss, and it's like, y'all doing what?
Imagine skipping Lexi's play. And then it's like all anybody's talking about for weeks after, because like that shit went crazy.
Yeah.
She was airing out everybody's shit, dude.
I swear. Like, it was,
but
granted, it was in a
for.
coded way, but lightly coded.
Very lightly coded. And, I do appreciate that they did show her and Rue like going over it earlier in the season. Like, this wasn't a surprise for Rue. She did get it cleared up, which is good. It would have been a problem. Like, everyone else, I think she can kind of get away with kind of just airing out the random shit. But all the shit she had with Rue in it, it was like, you better have gotten Rue's permission for this, because she is the emotional pivoting point of her play.
Yeah.
Like, she's the whole point of it. And just kind of like, it's interesting because I loved watching Rue enjoy watching the play when she was like, your play was the first time I could look at myself and not fucking hate it. I thought that was a really sweet sentiment.
Her just putting in her dad and stuff like that, like that whole speech, like them sitting on top of like fast gas station or store thing, like that was
little corner store.
That was dope. Like, Rue really loved that play. Like, she was like, "Oh, this is like Lexi, you dope as shit."
Oh yeah, and it made her realize that she needed to get Lexi back in her life. Like, I need to reconnect with this person who clearly cares so much about me, and I've pushed away. Like, I really loved that. Like, and all in all, if there was any great takeaway from this season for me, it was Zendaya and Lexi, Rue and Lexi coming back together. I really liked that, and it'll be interesting, that whatever happens with Fez going forward, because if Rue and Lexi are together, Rue and Fez were homies, and like I wonder how they're going to handle that going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall this season kind of let Euphoria come more into its own, and that carries with it sort of bad things and good things in terms of how it still does have a lot of those moments that really grab the viewers and like resonate, but then it also it is too into itself at times, like it's too just detached from reality. But like it feels like the first season could have felt like a limited series, if you let it be, but it feels like they've given more of a world to it.
I feel that, and the second season of a show is always hard.
Yeah.
Especially coming off a first season that was so strong. You take what you did right and you try to build upon it, and sometimes those building blocks aren't stable. Sometimes it kind of falls apart underneath you, and you got to go back to the basics and figure out what you did right again. And I think season 3 will be in store for an overall critically better season of television. But no matter what, I'm gonna be fucking entertained. I promise that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's just, I don't like this show. Even though like some of the writing, you can like, you might not like the writing always, but even
poking holes all over that shit
for real. But
poking holes all over.
But I feel like the actors and the way that it's shot really, like, even though the writing can be like spotty, it's still overall good because the actors are really good actors, and the HBO know how to shoot this shit. Like they like, oh yeah.
Oh, that's the thing too, is that while the writing can be egregious at points, the acting is always phenomenal. The visuals are always outstanding. Mm-hmm. Labyrinth always kills the soundtrack. Like they're hitting on 9 out of 10 things all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's strong.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I don't know if I said this on a podcast. Maybe I did, but I really, felt like, I'm going to say it again. If 13 Reasons Why didn't happen, I feel like Euphoria would be a thing. And I don't know if I said this, but I really...
Yeah, you walked so it could run.
Yeah, I'm holding that true. Like, not giving, like, Euphoria is, like, worse, because I kind of feel like Euphoria is, like, better in a sense. But
I think it's a lot better
it's realistic, because I'm like, wow, y'all was over dramatic and that's cool. But
13 Reasons Why was the opposite of Euphoria, in that it was pretty well written, but it was horribly acted, not well shot, and like there wasn't a good soundtrack. It was like the exact opposite.
Yeah, the only like good shooting I could talk about with 13 Reasons Why is like when they go to Hannah, it's always like an amber filter. Like it's always a warm glow that looks good on melanin skin. But but that's it. Or maybe like 2 songs, like The Night We Met. That's like the only thing I can.
That's the only song anyone knows from 13 Reasons Why. And that's just for real Lord Huron fans to be like, that's just the fake version.
Yeah, like, it's just like, Euphoria, they was like, oh, girl, y'all didn't know The Night We Met, hold up. Let me call Beyonce. Let me call Drake. Let me call Tupac, Biggie. Let me call all these.
No, they have the soundtrack budget for Euphoria. And they apparently the most viewed series on HBO besides Game of Thrones.
Euphoria.
I can believe that.
That shit was taken over every week. Like, even more than the first season, I feel like.
It's the biggest example for me of FOMO I've ever seen. Because like I said the last time we talked about Euphoria, ain't no way people that much older than us are fucking with it. Yeah. And I see like real deal 30s and 40s-year-olds tweeting about
my like 70-year-old comms professor started Euphoria this season.
Yeah, I told you, my 83-year-old
old ass lady about to retire.
I saw someone tweet like I was high as like I saw this dude saying I was high as fuck watching the Euphoria finale last night and I loved Elliot's song. Like this dude was like 45. Like I'm like I can't fathom being that age and enjoying this. Yeah. I don't know why.
Unless they're striking a chord that's true, something about high school.
And melodrama, there's something timeless about melodrama. People fuck with some over dramatic stakes. That gets your heart pumping a little bit. That never gets old.
I know what people was talking about, like 13 Reasons Why glamorized suicide, and I could see that argument, but I really felt like Euphoria does not glamorize drugs, like because you never see a scene of Rue being like yes, of course she's high, so she's going to look happy, but they really focus on like the shit that comes down with that. Like they really go down the line of like this is like fentanyl problem, drug dealers big problem. Like yeah. Who?
Nah, that shit was fantastic.
Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna hold up. I'm at a text. Anyone else hear that win, or is it just my speakers?
I don't know.
Okay, it's not happening no more. It was like a.
All right. Yeah, I didn't hear nothing, but I'm glad it's glad the problem has ceased. Yeah. But yeah, Euphoria overall. I don't have much else to say on season 2. You know, it was entertaining season. Could it compared to the season 1, it's a sophomore slump, but it's not a huge step down. Just a little bit. I think it certainly saves itself there at the end.
Only, yeah.
But yeah.
Only
any last thoughts on this season?
Only thing I'm going to say, I feel like Euphoria season 3 might be a send off to these characters, and I feel like when Gia starts high school, they're going to do that in a way. Like I feel like they might try to do like a Glee or Skins type of thing, where like Skins every 2 seasons is a different generation. Oh
no, yeah, that'd be real cool. I think it's only so far you can take these characters who are
they gotta be
very much so getting older and older and older, especially since season 3 is going to come out in 2 years.
No way they win the argument. They started out as freshmen.
Yeah, that's
and
why.
No way they win the argument. They end up as seniors. They end up as fucking 25-year-olds.
We ought to just take them to college or something like this.
Honestly,
this story was already more suited for college age, I think. Like campus life, like
that'll be hella
could
dope.
have fit perfectly there too. Yeah, Euphoria University, I could see that.
Yeah, call that shit dopamine.
But yeah, Tavarus, any last thoughts on season 2 here?
Nah, it was all right. One of the few shows that's was able to get me to watch every week, pretty much on the night that it came out, which is that's something.
It's a testament.
And it just has that prime, like who doesn't have that night, that hour on
Sunday night, like, 8 p.m. Like I want something to watch at Sunday night 8 p.m.
Yeah, right.
You know, that's ideal appointment viewing.
Yeah. It's 8 p.m. Oh, it's that's right. It's 8 p.m. for you guys, 9 o'clock for me. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, them bitches on the West Coast got it at 7, motherfuckers.
I know.
They be getting everything so early in the goddamn day. But yeah, or shit, it might be 6. It's 6 out there.
Yeah, it is 6.
2
that's
hours
fucking crazy.
Yeah. 2 hours behind you guys. Yep.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, them West Coast lucky out there. But yeah. With that, I don't have much else to say. I think that might conclude it here for our Euphoria season 2 coverage. It was a lot of fun. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Tavarus Pennginton. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh yeah, of course. Glad to wrap it up.
Oh, I was glad to have you, and I was also joined by Aurora Carter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll see you in 2024 with season 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
5 years of the Penny Bloom podcast, and we'll be covering Euphoria season 3. If you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find over 24 hours of exclusive content. You could start the content at midnight one day and finish midnight the next. I wouldn't suggest it, but that's full 24 hours of me in your ear. I don't know about all that, but
we should do it. We should do like the iCarly episode. You want to do 24 hours,
24-hour live stream. Could kill that.
I'll be here for that.
But if you, I'll have a rotation of everyone who's ever co-hosted the show. Just
we could probably theoretically do it that way.
I think we could. Just rotating everyone who's ever been on it. But Yeah, if you would, follow on Twitter at Penny Bloom Pod. Follow on Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast. Leave a 5-star rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise Keanu Reeves.